on NewsWatch Ole Miss, we have an update on the Hernando chemical spill and the effects it has on the drinking water.
Governor Tate Reeves signed a bill that will ban gender reassignment procedures for Mississippians under the age of 18. We have more on this story coming up.
It is a great day here in Oxford, and I hope everyone is out enjoying the sunshine as I definitely am. Stay tuned to see what the rest of the week holds. NewsWatch Ole Miss starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm AC Barker.
And I'm Juliana Jackson. A house fire killed 4 people, including 2 children, in Memphis last night. According to the Memphis Fire Department, the victims of this fire were 8, 10, 33, and 62 years old, with a surviving 5th victim of 55 years old, who was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. MFD spokesperson Quanisha Ward confirmed the fire was caused accidentally by a space heater.
Things are starting to look up for the city of Hernando after a fire led to a chemical spill Saturday morning. The mayor says the effects from the incident are no longer an issue. The spill happened at a pipe manufacturing company. DeSoto County officials say a large plastic tank filled with chemicals had melted during the fire, causing acid to seep into the ground. Officials say the acid reached a nearby creek, which then led to Arkabutla Lake and then eventually ended up in the Mississippi River. Crews worked with the Mississippi Department of Environmental Quality and built dams to block the water flow. This was in efforts to balance out the water's pH level. Mayor Chip Johnson says he's, quote, very happy with the way things are going, and he confirms that the drinking water in Hernando is safe, but that state leaders will continue to take soil, water, and air samples in the affected areas in the next upcoming week.
Well, I'm glad that the water there is much cleaner now and safer for the citizens to drink.
Oh, absolutely. And I feel like, what is it with these chemical spills lately? First we've got Ohio.
Yeah.
And now we've got, something that's so close to home.
Yes, yeah.
It's devastating, but I'm just glad that things are starting to look up for them.
Same here.
No doubt.
Same here.
Governor Tate Reeves signed the bill to ban youth transgender treatment in Mississippi today. House Bill 1125 bans gender reassignment procedures for people under the age of 18. It also bans public funds or tax deductions for gender transition procedures. This places enforcement procedures on the Mississippi State Board of Medical Licensure and stops Medicaid from covering gender transition-related care in Mississippi for adolescents. This law takes effect immediately.
With the national public health emergency set to expire in May, many soon-to-be mothers are raising concerns on if they will gain a better and longer postpartum Medicaid coverage. The pressure is on across the state, and Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves seems to have changed his opinion on this issue, saying that if the House and Senate sends him a bill to allow a year of postpartum Medicaid coverage, then he will sign it into law. If this is passed, that will mean mothers will have up to a full year of Medicaid coverage after giving birth. 28 states, including the District of Columbia, has already passed this bill. Hundreds of employees in Northeast Mississippi now find themselves without a job. This comes after yet another major business closure. The American Car Center announced its permanent closure on Friday. This closure affects 50 locations across 10 states. Now, company workers have more questions than they do answers. Employee Rebecca Wallace worked for the company for 4 years. She said her and her coworkers received an email around 5 o'clock Friday evening and that they don't even know if they are going to get their last paycheck. Wallace is now in the process of finding a new job. And more on local businesses. Some have not updated their hours since the beginning of COVID, and it's confusing for Ole Miss students and Oxford residents. Reporter Annabelle Kinney has the details.
It's tough not knowing when things are going to be open or not.
During the pandemic, many businesses in Oxford changed their store hours. Now that things have returned back to normal, these hours have not been re-extended, causing an inconvenience for students and local residents. Places like Walmart that used to be open 24 hours before the pandemic still close at 11 p.m. Ole Miss student Ellen Popple says that these hours are not aligning with students and their spending habits.
At Ole Miss and the Oxford community, that's our biggest store, so if something comes up, whether it be emergency or just that's what fits into our schedule, it is hard to plan around a more typical business day for those easy errands.
Not only have businesses not re-extended their hours, but even checking online can sometimes be misleading.
It is kind of annoying having to look online and seeing that something closed at 11 o'clock and then they close earlier.
With customer frustration, employees are also overwhelmed. Oxford resident and worker Alania Castillo says that understaffing is one of the reasons for this problem.
We're just short-staffed, so I think if people could have more patience with us, because as an employee we get the vitriol because that's who they see.
Staffing shortages continue to remain a big issue across the United States, but right here in Oxford, many tell me they wish businesses could do more to clarify their hours. For NewsWatch Ole Miss, I'm Annabelle Kennedy.
Well, spring has almost sprung, and you know what that means? The annual Beale Street Music Festival in Memphis is just around the corner.
That's right, AC, and they have finally announced this year's lineup. Festival goers will get the chance to hear artists like the Lumineers, Greta Van Fleet, Robert Plant, and Allison Cruz.
And if you're in the mood to groove, guess what? Earth, Wind & Fire will be there too, along with other well-known artists like Hardy, Young the Giant, The Struts, AJR, and many more. Needless to say, it's going to be a weekend to remember.
The event will go on May 5th through the 7th at Tomley Park on the Memphis Riverfront. 3-day passes and VIP tickets are available now on memphisinmay.org. Coming up, those in favor of student loan relief rallied outside the Supreme Court this morning.
And a new Tennessee bill could send children to prison at a younger age. More ahead on NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Does it ever seem like some people are actually trying to destroy the planet? And the rest of us are like, hey, we need this planet. Some people may be slow to learn, but they'll eventually get the message.
Oh man, I can't believe I'm missing this. Okay, Grandma. I see you.
Don't get stuck at home with the flu. A flu shot is the best way to prevent the flu and its potentially serious complications. It keeps you, your community, and loved ones protected. Don't get flu FOMO. Learn more at getmyflushot.org.
When you have a hole in your neck, don't face the shower head.
Suction out your toe before you eat.
Crouch. Don't bend over. You don't want to lose the food in your stomach. Don't use spray paint. Be very careful shaving.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
Legacy isn't just about where you're from, it's about where you're going. So where are you going?
I'm going to be the first in my family to graduate.
I'm going to make a difference.
Just like my granddad.
I'm going to make the bestseller list.
And I'm going to help him get there.
I'm going to win a championship.
Again! I'm going to lock the vault! Hotty toddy!
I'm going to take the next step. I'm going to bring them to their feet.
I'm going to Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. Build your legacy.
Welcome back to NewsWatch Ole Miss. Inside the Supreme Court this morning, justices are hearing 2 cases on the Biden administration's loan forgiveness plan. While outside, those in favor of the program gave their voice on the subject.
And see that they need to follow the law because student loan relief is legal and we need our relief today.
The program would give millions of Americans up to $20,000 of debt relief, but it has been on hold since last year. How and when the justices rule will determine when those payments resume. Idaho murder suspect Brian Kohberger's search warrant has just been unsealed. In the warrant, there was a list of items that was seized from the Kohberger family home, some of which include a cheek swab for DNA, clothing, medical gloves, and portions of a pillow. Investigators also seized stained bedding and strands of hair along with a single glove. However, no weapon was found. The significance of any of these items has not been immediately cleared yet. Kohberger's hearing for the murders of the 5 University of Idaho students is scheduled to be in late July. More than a dozen students have been hospitalized at a Birmingham middle school after possibly consuming THC gummies. The Birmingham Fire and Rescue Service was sent to the school after a call that students started complaining about feeling sick after eating an undisclosed type of candy. Reports indicate that this candy was a type of edible gummy. Parents of the student who distributed this candy met with school leaders and say the candy that the student purchased was from the grocery store and did not contain any illegal substances. This story is still under investigation, and the health and safety of the students at Birmingham City Schools is the top priority.
Troubled children in Tennessee could possibly find themselves behind bars at younger than 18. A Tennessee state senator has proposed a bill that may send children to adult prison. But this is only if they fall under a certain category. Senators Ed Jackson and Paige Wally teamed up, proposing that the age requirement be lowered to 17. Senator Wally says this proposal gives the court, quote, a little more latitude, and that, quote, if someone is 17 and 9 months old and did something bad, this mechanism could discourage misbehavior. Multiple Tennessee police officers fired in the wake of a sexual misconduct scandal. One has now filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against the city of Laverne. Reporter Nick Perez has more.
Megan Hall was one of 5 officers, along with the Laverne police chief, fired last month for allegations of sexual misconduct on the job. But it was Hall, the only female and just into her 2nd year on the force, who became the face of the sexual scandal.
These predators, starting from day one, worked to break down her psychological barriers and convince her to engage in sexual activity that she didn't want to.
Attorney Wesley Clark, flanked by his client Hall, talked about the federal lawsuit they've filed naming the city of Laverne, former Sergeant Lewis Powell, former Sergeant Henry Ty McGowan, and former Police Chief Burrell Chip Davis. The lawsuit alleges the supervisors, quote, groomed Hall for sexual exploitation.
Megan wasn't looked at like a rookie cop to be trained and promoted. She was looked at as a piece of meat to be sexualized and exploited.
The lawsuit stems from a police department scandal involving sexual misconduct both on and away from the job involving officers. There are no criminal charges.
There are going to be those who say these are consenting adults and she's trying to place the blame elsewhere.
Well, yeah, it's really easy to think that whenever you don't understand the full story.
Clark says Hall said no on several occasions, but her supervisors kept pushing until she gave in. Racked by depression to the point of considering suicide, the lawsuit says when Hall tried to end the sexual conduct, threats were made against her.
That should be disgusting and outrageous to everyone who reads this case and understands the truth of what happened here.
The city of Laverne declined to comment on the pending litigation.
More than 6 million adults have heart failure in the U.S., according to the American Heart Association. This condition may make it more likely for patients to suffer a stroke and a heart attack, but a new study finds a cell therapy may reduce those risks. In today's Health Minute, reporter Mandy Gaither has more on the research and why the lead author says this is exciting data for heart failure patients.
It's a serious condition where the heart can't pump enough blood and oxygen to meet the body's needs. The symptoms of heart failure are often treated through medication.
All of these medicines we use, they're quite successful and they improve, they even prolong life. Well, but that's only half the story, because what about what causes heart failure? What keeps it going? None of these medicines address that.
A new study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology finds cell therapy involving adult stem cells from bone marrow administered directly into an inflamed heart through a catheter could result in a long-term 58% reduced risk of heart attack and stroke in severe heart failure patients.
It works along with the treatments that we already have. So you can imagine we keep everybody going and doing better with the medicine, and now we have a treatment that actually addresses the cause and quiets everything down.
The researchers say their findings should be considered hypothesis generating in that they show this cell therapy concept could work, but clinical trials would be needed to specifically confirm the effects of these stem cells on heart attack, stroke, and other health events.
This line of investigation really has a great future, and I can see that with a confirmatory trial, we can bring this kind of treatment into the mainstream.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The patients who received the cell therapy in the study were delivered about 150 million stem cells to the heart through a catheter. The cells came from the bone marrow of 3 healthy young adult donors. And now, let's head back to Mallory Edgen with another look at your weather today.
It is a beautiful day here in Oxford, but not sure things will continue to stay this way as we do have some showers and some thunderstorms coming our way starting tomorrow. But make sure to stay tuned for more weather conditions and your 5-day weather forecast after this break.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
You gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's what white people think. You alright?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Two flashes.
What's up, champ? I feel like you get taller every time I see you. Congratulations, Brandon.
Thank you.
Hey Rebels, I am Mallory Edgen with your weather for today. It is a beautiful day here in Oxford, and I'm sure everyone is super excited to finally have this warm weather back again. It is currently 76 here in Oxford, and it's sunny with some decent winds coming in. And looking at our region, it's looking to be pretty much the same, with all of our temperatures falling in the same range, from the low 70s to the high 70s. And then looking at tonight, our temperature is going to drop down just a little bit, but it's not too bad. It is going to be partly cloudy, and this is going to make way for some overcast overnight. Going into tomorrow, unfortunately, it's not going to be the best day. We are going to have some thunderstorms coming in at night, and it will be cloudy in the morning, and there is a potential for some severe weather, so make sure to stay updated. Also, make sure to bring that rain jacket if you do plan on going out anywhere. Looking at our region again, it is looking to be pretty similar again, with all of our temperatures falling in the high 70s, with Tupelo topping us out at a temperature of 79. And looking at our week, once again, we will have some thunderstorms tomorrow night and some showers on Thursday and on Friday morning. But fortunately, looking at our week, this is going to make for some good weather this weekend. So make sure to go out and enjoy the days that we do have this week and enjoy that sunshine.
Well, I feel like Mississippi weather is just so unpredictable. Like, you never know what you're going to get. It's feeling like spring.
Definitely. We have some ups and downs this week, but I'm just happy to see some sunshine.
And tomorrow's March, which means spring is about to be in full swing. And speaking of swing, Campbell, what do we have coming up in sports?
Well, coming up, the number 4 ranked baseball team is back in action today. And 2 members of the women's basketball team are receiving some big-time accolades. Find out who up next in sports.
Creating a legacy takes time, takes dedication, spirit, and a greater vision. That vision starts here. at the University of Mississippi. What will you be remembered by? Your character? Your contributions? Your friendship? Your legacy will define who we are now and who we are becoming for our state, our students, and our future. Ole Miss, build your legacy.
Bring it.
Time out, guys. I'm late to dinner. My mom's gonna kill me. Catch you guys later.
Mom wants us home. Okay. Bye, guys.
You guys need a ride?
Sure. Yeah. All right. How about some one-on-one?
I gotta go eat, man. Sorry, I'll see you later.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it.
Well, Rebel fans, there's only one more time you can go watch the men's basketball team this year at home, and that is tonight as they take on the Aggies from Texas A&M. Last meeting between the two was a little over a year ago, where the Rebs fell short with a score of 76-66 Aggies. Ty Fagan recorded a double-double that game with a career-high 8 assists. Texas A&M is currently the second best in the SEC, just coming off a loss to Mississippi State, breaking their 6-game winning streak. The Aggies are being led by sophomore Wade Taylor IV, who's averaging 16 points a game. Tip-off will be at 8 and will be streamed on ESPNU. And taking things to the ballpark, the Bulldogs from Louisiana Tech are in town to take on the Rebs in a midweek series. Ole Miss took a record of 3-1 during week 2, getting wins from Arkansas State and a series win against Maryland. Calvin Harris helped the team defeat Maryland on Sunday with a career high of 8 RBIs. There were also 6 home runs on Sunday, adding to the 18 this season, the most by an Ole Miss team since 1997. With these wins so far, the Rebels are ranked 4th for the third straight week. The first game of the series is happening right now in Swayze, and the last game will be tomorrow at 4. And earlier today, women's basketball stars Angel Baker and Madison Scott have earned SEC accolades. This is the second season in a row for Baker to receive this honor. Baker also was awarded with First Team All-SEC. Junior forward Madison Scott, along with these honors, received Second Team All-SEC and All-Defense. Baker has been keeping things hot for the Rebs this season as she has increased her scoring percentage 35% from last season. Scott has also been shooting well with averaging 10 points per game. These two are heading into this week looking forward to the SEC Women's Basketball Tournament in Greenville, South Carolina. And the softball team fell short to Louisiana last night with a final score of 3-2. Senior Michaela Ali got things done in the late innings for the Rebs with her 3 hits. Sophomore Caitlin Riley also helped the team with her double in the gap, putting the tying runs in scoring position. The team rallied till the end, tying the game up in the 7th inning. The Raging Cajuns were able to score in the 8th, though, and sealed the deal. These Lady Rebels will be back playing in Oxford this weekend as they host Missouri State in the Ole Miss Classic. And that's all I've got for sports. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at @rebel_watch for the latest sports updates.
Thanks, Campbell. Up next, how would you like a sweet treat for dinner?
and then get the chance to give back to charity while you're at it? We'll have more on how after the break.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. Ready! That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu. And especially this year, no one has time to get sick. Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
This year, my mom got me the perfect bag for back to school.
These colorful binders help me stay organized.
These headphones are just what I need for studying.
These new sneakers are just what I need for the new year.
This jacket is a real must-have.
My parents got me the skateboard I wanted. It's pretty cool.
These scissors really come in handy in art class. These colored pencils, too.
These new socks, they can be a real lifesaver.
I finally got my own phone to stay in touch with my mom.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
You might want to consider breakfast for dinner tonight because guess what day it is? It is National Pancake Day.
I'm so excited. I love pancakes. And did you know the breakfast chain IHOP started National Pancake Day in 2006? As a way to raise money for charity, giving patrons an incentive to lead a charitable donation.
From 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., you can get a free stack of IHOP's original buttermilk pancakes. And in exchange, it's suggested you leave a donation to help children battling critical illnesses.
IHOP changes the exact date of National Pancake Day each year, but it always happens sometime near the end of February or the beginning of March.
I love that. I've always been team pancakes from
Yes.
the start,
Yeah,
not
definitely.
waffles.
Team IHOP too, honestly.
Yeah, good for them. 100%.
Now, National Pancake Day isn't exactly a new thing, but we've got some new words in the English dictionary.
Yep, dictionary.com says it has updated its site with 313 new entries and some revised or added definition to existing entries.
Many of the new words and terms have to do with the internet. One example is rage farming, which means intentionally trying to provoke a political opponent online. Other notable entries have LGBTQ connections like queerbaiting and pink washing.
A senior director at dictionary.com says many of the new words have been around for some time. He says the website is including them now because they have reached the mainstream popularity.
I think that's interesting, like we're adding all these new words to the dictionary.
Yes, I love it.
See where we're at in 5 years, I guess.
I know. I mean, I can't even imagine what we'll be at in 5 years.
I know, it'd be crazy.
Right? Well, that's all we've got for tonight. On NewsWatch Ole Miss, I'm AC Barker.
I'm Campbell Holmes.
I'm Mallory Edgen.
And I'm Juliana Jackson. Be sure to keep up with us on social media, and we will see you again tomorrow at 5.
Thank you, and have a great night.